So quick update on this bad boy here, the silver car. Silver car. Took the engine apart. We're sealing it up. It's pretty much almost ready to go back in the car, or back in a car. Cleaned this oil pan the best we could. It's a major improvement. These parts are like really like caked on there. So
alright guys, don't heat up your oil pans too much or you might shrink it.
You're so dumb. Yeah, you can't use the heat gun too long on it because it might shrink and then it's not gonna fit on the block. Just a quick tech tip.
Tumble dry only, tumble dry.
Yeah, especially when it's aluminum. How hot is it?
Pretty hot.
It's freaking hot. Jesus Christ. Every time I see an engine taken apart, it does things to me. I would want to build a BB4W, but I don't know. I'd rather build a K. This bad boy here. Woof. Gio, should I touch on this car?
Why not?
Why not? So, to talk about this bad boy. Show the beast that hasn't moved in 7 years.
It's almost like ancient technology in this one.
Alright, so backstory on this car.
I'm saying that this car was born during the Egyptian era.
So a backstory on this car is as follows. I met Antoine in 2014 when he got the car in a Napa store. When he saw me on the parking lot, we parked next to each other. And he thought my car was cool. I thought his car was cool. I was not K-swap at that time, so for him to think my car was cool without being K-swap, it's pretty cool. But I think we exchanged numbers and he hit me up, I think a week later, 2 weeks later, asking if I knew anybody that would work on Miatas exceptionally well. And I referred him to a person I knew at the time. And I vouched for them like it's no tomorrow, and until recently. But that being said, we're in 2023. No, we're in 23 or 24.
What's that?
What year are we in?
22.
I lose count. So this car this fabrication stuff was done by said mechanic, and it came out pretty good. He put the turbo stuff, he did a lot of good stuff. I think he refreshed the engine, but the car's been sitting for so long. There's a lot of problems that we encountered trying to get this thing to run. Meanwhile, somebody got interested in the car, and me and Gio have been basically finishing it up. Fuel lines and stuff like that. So this car is gonna basically get sold for $6,500 with the top. And I think I have the roll bar sold separately, and the wheels might be sold separately. So Antoine basically fell out of love with the car, waiting for it for so long that he doesn't really care what happens with the car. He wants the money. He's starting a new business. He's into his stuff right now, and it's a headache at this point for him. So to him, it doesn't matter if we finish it or not, or sell it or not, because he's out of love with the car. He doesn't like the car like that no more. So, you know, when you wait for something so long, you kind of forget about it emotionally. And I think that's what happened in this case. But that being said, if I had the money, I would have bought this car from Antoine and kept it for myself. But things are tight. I don't have that kind of cash to just dump in a car like that. I got a family, I got kids. I got my second kid here. He's always helping me working on cars. I adopted him in 2014 as well. So, quick advice I can give people is, if you're giving your stuff to someone and you are paying for a service or paying for whatever it is you're paying, make sure you get it done. If it's a mechanic that's taking too long with your car for more than months, if the job doesn't require that amount of time, you gotta get on it and get your car either done or returned to you. Because 7 years plus, I don't think that's fair to anybody.
Don't ever tell them you're not in a rush.
Yeah, don't ever tell them you're not in a rush. Set a deadline, set a budget, and go with that. Because, my guy, if I give my car to somebody and wait 7 years, that's a 7-year-old kid you could have raised. But, you know, some people have skills and some people have talent, but if they don't put it to good use, it's wasted. So that's something I can advise people, basically, to specifically young people, because when I met him, I was in my 20s, 24, 23. I'm 31. Guy, like, that car has been getting dust and sitting for such a long time that anybody can forget about it. And it's a badass car. It has a full body kit. No, none of the parts that went in this car are cheap. None of them. Well, except for the wheels. We can just say the wheels are kind of cheap. But they look good. The body kit is nice. It has a little ducktail. But the car's technically sold to one of our friends up in Fort Myers. He's gonna take over it. I gave him a rundown on what's left to do in the car, because it's just, you know, we can finish it. It's just, if I finish it, I'm gonna have to charge the guy that's interested a lot more money. And, you know, and I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not getting a single dime out of the work we've done. We're just getting our parts paid for by the owner. He's a good friend of mine. I'm not getting paid for this vehicle, not one fucking dime. Why? I was the one that referred him, and he's a friend of mine now, so, you know, it's on principle, basically. I don't want a dime. I don't want a single cent from him. I just want him to be happy, and he's thinking about actually acquiring another car. This is how out of love he is. He's thinking about acquiring his mom's Miata that she drives every day. Probably get her another car and get his mom's Miata and drive that and start fresh with another car, another project. But you would think, oh, Lander, this car is pretty badass. Why doesn't he just continue with this? Sometimes when things leave a bad taste in your mouth, you don't want to swallow that fucking shit. So that's pretty much it. I think, you know, some people will know who I'm talking about. Some people won't know, but I'm not trying to specifically call anybody out. Even though this person might think the world revolves around them, it doesn't. And, you know, the world will keep on spinning and forget about X, Y, and Z after they're dead and gone. And so will they about me. So it's another day, just a tip that I can give you. Maybe you'll learn from this. Maybe you won't. But I hope to see this car running and kicking ass one day. I'm definitely gonna stay in touch with the next owner of this car. And yeah, it's very unfortunate that things like this happen, but some people just don't care. But on a positive note, my baby's fucking kicking ass, and Gio's car is kicking ass, and we're kicking ass here getting cars done. Huh, Gio?
So what?
We're kicking ass and getting cars done.
Oh yeah, bud.
Oh yeah. But yeah, guys, stay put. Don't go anywhere.